And that's when my mom said, "You have to sit down. I have something to tell you." She told me that she had an affair for 11 years when she was married to my dad in the 60s.
Hello, you are listening to NPE Stories. This is a podcast where NPEs can share their story. I'm your host, Lily, and I found out I was an NPE through an ancestry DNA test that changed my life forever. NPE is a term that stands for Not Parent Expected or Non-Paternal Event. This means that one or more of our parents are not who we believe them to be. NPE Stories is a podcast where NPEs can share their story of what their original family was like, how they found out they were an NPE, and what their journey has been like since the day they found out. Welcome to episode 10, part 1, where today I am talking to Judy and Ron, NPE husband and wife. Hi, Judy and Ron.
Hi, Lily.
Hello, Lily.
Hi, you guys. Thank you, both of you, for doing this today.
Thank you for having us.
And I've read the email, Judy, that you sent me multiple times. And I have to say, I have it here in front of me. I took some notes on it. Very surprising. And I have lots of questions for you about your situation.
Okay.
So I won't ask any of those now because we just need to hear how you became an NPE. And Ron, you are as well.
Yes.
So why don't, however we want to do this, I think, Judy, do you want to start and, or whoever wants to start first, and let us know how this happened from the beginning and what your original family was like?
Sure, I'll start. My original family, I had my mom, my dad, and my sister, who is almost 2 years younger than me. So my parents were married for 13 years and then got divorced when I was 9. My dad picked us up faithfully every weekend. We spent lots of time with him. He got remarried, and we had the best stepmother anybody could ever ask for. So she was a very supportive person in my life. My dad was an alcoholic, so he probably wasn't as loving as a parent as some fathers would have been. Then my mom's boyfriend lived with us for a while too, after my parents got divorced. We lived in the same house, though, our whole life. So me, my mom, my sister, sometimes her boyfriend lived with us, and that's about it.
And you said a younger sister?
Yes, she's almost 2 years younger, Janet.
Okay. And that was your original family.
Mm-hmm.
Now, at this point, do you want to tell me how you found out that you were an NPE, or
Sure.
do you
Yes.
want to go into Ron's?
Ron, do you want to talk about your family first?
Why don't you go on with your story a little more?
Okay. How I found out. So my dad that raised us was an only child, and he did not know his father, and he lived a few hours away from us. I came across this envelope. My mom moved out of our family home about 5 years ago into an apartment, and she gave me all kinds of paperwork, and I didn't really look through any of it. But last year I was looking for a picture. I can't remember exactly what I was looking for, but I came across an envelope that had some old report cards in it from when I was a kid, and I found a letter in there, and it was from a family member on my dad's side of the family who I didn't know, and they were asking family questions to give to this woman who was the daughter of my dad's half sister that we didn't know about. So I contacted her on Facebook and said, I think we're related. Um, so my dad had already passed away in 2010, and his half sister also had already passed away. So I was chatting online with this woman named Leah, and we thought we were long lost cousins that found each other. And she told me she also had 6 sisters, so there were 7 of them. And they said they had been working on a family tree, and some of them had done an ancestry DNA test. So they thought it would be fun if I did a DNA test and we would all match and grow our family tree. Um, so one of the women did send me a coupon that she found, and I ordered my test. And so my dad was German and Polish. My mom was 100% Italian. And when I got my test back, it said I was 58% Italian and that I was Irish and Scottish. No German and Polish at all.
Oh.
So because I didn't think this wasn't even a possibility that my dad wasn't my dad, never entered my mind. I thought there was a mistake. So I work at a library, and we have a genealogy expert there, a librarian. So I was talking to her about it, and she said, maybe your dad was adopted, maybe this, maybe that. Um, but that still wasn't adding up because I had seen pictures of his father, and he looked exactly like him. And I kept asking my mom, what do you think about this? I think there's a mistake. I'm not showing that I'm German and Polish. And she just kept saying, um, I don't know, it must be a mistake. And then she would change the subject.
Mm.
So then it was around the holidays, November, December. So we were with family a lot. I had a lot of family gatherings. And whenever we were all together, we would be joking. And I'd say, Mom, did you have a thing for the mailman?
Mm-hmm.
And like me and my sister and our kids, who are adults, would be laughing, not really thinking that was the case. And my mom would always change the subject or walk out of the room or say, I don't think that's funny. Um, so she always seemed like she was getting upset every time it came up. So then it was around Christmas time. I got a friend request on Facebook from someone named Amy. And I looked at it and I'm like, well, I don't know this person. So I declined the friend request. And a few days later, I got a Facebook message from her that said, I just got my DNA results and I live in the same town you do. I can't figure out how we're related. But do you want to get together and see if we can figure it out? So I said, I'd love to get together to figure it out, but I really think mine is a mistake. Um, so when this did come out and I thought it was a mistake, I asked my sister that I grew up with to take the test, and she never did. So I bought my son a test, and he did it, and we were just waiting for his results to come back. So told Amy, um, when my son Nick gets his results, if he has German and Polish, then there's a mistake with mine. If he has Irish and Scottish, which I don't think he's going to, then we will have to figure this out. So her and I met on New Year's Day, 2019. But before that, on December 29th, I went over to my mom's and I said, oh, someone named Amy contacted me. She's related somehow. We're going to get together and figure out how. Do you happen to know who it could be? And that's when my mom said, you have to sit down. I have something to tell you. So it was just her and I at her house. And she told me that she had an affair for 11 years when she was married to my dad in the 60s. And she was married. The man she had the affair with, his name was Richard, and he was also married. She told me he had 3 sons, um, and she told me that he was still married to his wife that he was married to back then. And she told me my sister was his child also. So she continued with the story, and she said that she knew she wasn't going to have kids with my dad who raised us. So she decided to get pregnant uh, on purpose with me and my sister with this other man. Um, she said she checked the phone book every year to see if he still lived where he lived, which was 1 block away from us. Um, Me and my sister were born in the 60s, and so were his 3 sons. So luckily, we never met before this, like while we were teenagers or something.
But they, did you say they lived a block away?
1 block away, yes.
Wow.
So our whole growing up years, they lived 1 block away.
Oh my.
Mm-hmm. So I
So,
asked my mom, well, did he ever see us? And she said yes. A couple times when we were very young, so not any time we would remember that. And that my dad, who raised us, never knew anything about it. So it started to click with me because she went to play cards with her friends every Friday night without fail, no matter what. And I said, oh, is that where you were on Friday nights when you went to card night with your friends? And she said, yes. So that's where she really was with this Richard.
uh-huh.
Um, so she knew about 10 years ago, him and his wife did move to another town about half hour, 40 minutes away from us. Um,
Can I
yeah,
interrupt? I
sure.
don't want to interrupt this story.
Uh-huh.
It's so much. I'm just I have to ask about a couple of things. Your sister you were raised with, is
Mhm.
that his child as well?
Yes, she's still my full sister.
That is your full sibling sister,
Yes, with
but with your mom and your birth father.
correct.
But your birth certificate father, your dad,
Hmm.
thought that both you and your sister were his.
Yes.
Oh, oh, I'm so sorry.
Hmm. And he never knew. I'm sure he never knew.
And what did your mom mean by she knew she wasn't going to have kids with your dad? What does that mean?
Well, we all knew that they had a horrible marriage. So she said, oh, it's kind of weird when you ask your mother questions about sex, but I I told her I had to ask, and she said that she really didn't have sexual relations with our uh, dad that raised us.
Mm-hmm.
And when she knew she was pregnant, then she would, just so she had an excuse,
Uh-huh.
so that he would never guess. So that was all in her plan.
And you said she divorced your dad when you were young, right?
Yes, 9
Nine,
years old.
9 years old. Okay,
Hmm.
okay. Now who is Amy then? Is that
Oh,
a
okay.
sister? Mhm.
No. Um, so Amy, after my mom told me the whole story and told me about Richard's 3 sons, um, we kind of figured out by Amy's age, she's my niece. So by the time I met Amy on January 1st, then I did have answers for her.
Oh,
And she thought that I might have been a child that Richard's brother may have had and didn't tell anybody about. But it turned out,
oh.
that was Richard's her grandfather.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then my oldest half brother is her dad.
I see. So by the time, okay, so when your mom told you this,
Hmm.
how did you feel? How did you react?
Uh, well, shocked because, like I said, you don't think that that's even possible. Um, and then when she told me, I said, okay, we have to call Janet, my sister. We have to call her right now, and she has to come over. We have to tell her right now. And my mom didn't want to tell anybody. Um, but after we talked about it, I told her my son Nick was going to be getting his results any day now. So, better to come clean now than explain more later. Um, so my sister came over and we talked to her, and then my mom. I have two adult children, and my sister has two adult children, and we had them come over one at a time. My mom didn't want to talk to a whole group of people and let them know what the truth was. So everyone was pretty shocked, um, and it seems like my sister's kids. I don't know. It's kind of a story to them. Um,
Like it's not real?
yeah, yeah. Or maybe that it was so long ago, it's just like ancient history.
Okay, yep.
And then I said that I was going to meet Amy. I already had a date and time to meet with her, and um, my sister asked me not to. And I said, I can't do that. I have to know. I want to know who these people are. You
Mm-hmm.
know, they're our family members. If they wanted to get to know me, I said, I have to know. I couldn't not know any longer. Um, so she decided she didn't want to know, and she hasn't talked to me since then. So it's been 10 months almost. So
Oh, I'm
anyway,
so sorry, Judy. That must be very painful.
yeah, it's hard when you think that I only had one sister, and I thought she would always be there to support me, even if she didn't agree with what I was doing, you know. But uh, you can't control people, You can only control how you react to them.
Yeah.
So I did go meet Amy, and she was totally shocked. I had a hard time even saying it to her. And um, ever since then, Amy and I have developed this amazing relationship. And I even told her parents when I talked to them, I consider Amy an angel on earth. She has helped me bring everybody together so that there is a good side to this story. Because I did
Mm,
get to know my three brothers, and I did meet my biological father one time.
really?
And she
How did
helped.
that go?
She coordinated all that. It was really strange. She asked me not to contact them because of her grandmother, Richard's wife. They're both in their 80s. She said she doesn't know anything about this, and she didn't think it was a good idea at this stage in her life to learn about it. And I said I would never be the person that did that. But I did write him a letter because that was a suggestion on the Facebook group uh, page. And I wrote him a letter, and then, me and Amy had gotten together a few times. And I told her I wrote a letter. I'm not mailing it because he lives with his wife, and I would honor Amy's wishes. But I did want to find a way to get it to him. So she said she was going to help me with that. So she ended up giving it to um, my middle brother, Marty. And we were like sitting on it for a few weeks, Amy and I, like, what do we do? How am I going to give it to him without anyone knowing? Things like that. As soon as she gave it to Marty, he read the letter. I told her anyone could read it who wanted to, because the whole story was kind of in there. And he texted me the next day and said, "I'm sorry it took me so long to get back to you or contact you." And I'm like, "It's only been one day." So he said him and his younger brother, who both live in the area, wanted to meet me as soon as possible, and they were really excited about it. So,
Oh,
um,
that's
and
nice. Just a
it's
nice
really
thing.
nice. It's
Yeah.
really nice. Like I said, there are good things that have come out of this, a lot of good things. And then, so Marty and RJ live here, and Dave, Amy's dad, lives in South Carolina. So I met Marty and RJ, and the first time I met them was like we already knew each other. So none of us really look alike. We all have different color eyes, and I'm dark and they're not. They were really excited because they never had a sister. And I was really excited because I never had a brother. And and then I did meet Dave when he was visiting in the summer. So we've all met and we've gotten together. We've gone to um, hang out watching local bands, gone out to dinner, things like that. So we're really getting to know each other, and um, we all feel like we got cheated out of a childhood together.
Yes, you did. Yes.
So we're trying to make up for that. Um, so then uh, Marty said, "I will talk to our father and we'll work something out where I'm going to make sure you meet him." And so the one day he called and we made arrangements, and I met him at a park, and it just happened to be the Saturday before Father's Day. So it was Father's Day weekend. Um, and it was kind of strange. Like, I don't know. I felt a closer connection to the brothers, I think, than I did to him. Um, we talked a lot about things, and he said the same thing my mom did. He said, "Well, you were planned, and I loved your mom, and I would have given her anything she wanted." And I don't know. I think he thought that was going to make me feel better, but it that's just too weird.
Yes.
So we talked about things. He said he wasn't happy in his marriage either, but he just stayed because that's what you did. And I kind of get that part. Um, but I haven't seen him since.
Mhm.
And my son Nick did say that he would like to meet him at some point, because he said, that's my grandfather, and he's met my brothers and Amy and Amy's sister Susie, and you know we're all like having a lot of fun getting to know each other. So I don't know when I'll meet him again, or if I will at all. After that, um, so then I bought everybody in my family ancestry DNA kits for Christmas before I knew any of this. Um, and I forgot to say something. When I did get my results back and found out the truth, then I had to go back to the 7 new cousins that I thought were my cousins and tell them I'm not related, because
Oh.
everyone was wondering why we weren't matching.
Mm.
We didn't show up on each other's matches. Um, so I bought everybody kits, and I bought one for my husband Ron, for his son, his son's wife. My son had one, and his fiance, my daughter, ended up getting a kit. And when Ron's came back, he had something that wasn't making sense too.